I just want to do this anyway.
Lee, I don't want to watch a ghost movie again. I fucking hate ghost movies.
We haven't, seen one in a long time. I think it's
We
time.
totally have. Ghosts are bad. Everything about them sucks. There's nothing. We should watch a zombie movie. Zombies are always fun.
Wait, there are like millions of zombie movies.
For a reason, because they're really fucking good.
No, it's so played out. I'm over it. I'm over zombies.
No, it's come full circle. It was played out, but now it's been like 3-4 more months, and it came back around to being good again.
It's retro again?
Yeah. We're pre the new season of The Walking Dead, so people are hungry for it.
That's a perfect
hungry
example
for human flesh.
of something that is too old and bad and is not working
Old
anymore.
as the hills, like a fucking dude in a sheet rattling a chain.
Like
Ghosts
hills
are
have
shit.
eyes, yes.
We're done with ghosts.
No.
All right, fine. I can compromise. We'll put a little bit together here.
Zombie ghosts?
Yes.
It's all you love and know. It's Cannibal Video.
All right, guys, here we're going to talk about Ghosts of Mars. 2001's Ghost of Mars. Lee, I know you've seen this one before.
Of course.
Of course
I'm
you
sure
have.
everyone has seen this. I'm a huge Carpenter fan.
Yes.
And I've probably seen everything. I don't know. But,
This was like the last before his long hiatus.
Yeah, this I'm not going to say that it killed his career, but he just decided to pull the plug on his career.
It definitely tanked him
this.
pretty good because people didn't understand like what it was. It's not
Yeah.
a serious horror movie. This is a fun popcorn idiot movie.
I do think
and
it's
I think
bad,
it
though.
nailed that.
Let me be clear. I think it's
Oh
bad.
no. This movie to me is awesome. I saw this like right in the pocket of when like things
Yeah.
would develop and be great. I think almost everyone in this movie is awesome.
It's got a star-studded cast.
It certainly does.
Natasha Henstridge, the species herself.
Yes.
Jason Statham, not the lead, person of the movie.
No.
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube.
I always get the T and the cube mixed up because I'm an old man. But no, like this came out. I remember quoting this movie with my boys.
Yeah.
We used to say, "I ain't going back." We used to say that like at random times and just laugh about this movie. And
Oh yeah.
yeah.
No, but it's a fun movie. You got Clea Duvall's in this one. Pam Grier is in this. Yeah, this is a good cast
Jackie
here.
Brown herself.
Exactly. I don't know, but it's a fun movie. You got a ridiculous premise. This has one of the probably all-time horrific bad guys premise-wise. I won't say
Sure.
that they're executed properly, but it's a really fun movie. These people go to Mars. Their job as police is
And there's ghosts.
to transport a criminal from point A to point B,
Yeah.
and the old inhabitants of Mars get in the way.
Did you know this was originally going to be Escape from Mars?
I did.
This was going to be the trilogy for Snake Plissken.
Yes.
But they were like, "No, you old crazy man. No, we know, Escape from LA did too poorly.
Yeah,
you
it
can't
made
make
no
another
money.
one."
They couldn't do another one.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a lot of actual
You have
fun
to-
backstory about this
Yeah,
movie.
you have to recast Snake Plissken, and he's like, "I don't want to do that." And they're like, "No, trust me, Ice Cube." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Put Ice Cube in it." Like, what the fuck? Okay.
Well, originally Statham was supposed to play the Ice
Yeah,
Cube
and they
role.
did the
He
thing.
got pulled out
Yeah.
because of the name recognition of Ice Cube. Courtney Love was originally going to be the main character. Then it was going to be the
went
girl
through a
from
few
Run
people.
Lola Run.
Okay,
Then the girl from Crouching Tiger. Then Femke Jensen. And then
I like
10
Famke
days before
Jensen.
shooting, we switched over and we got our Species girl.
Yes.
Yeah, I like her though.
No, she's fine. I think the movie's fine, but ultimately, like, it isn't as good as I remembered it. I'm gonna say it doesn't hold up, but I had a lot of nostalgia for this going in. I was super disappointed compared to my memories of oh, this is gonna be great, it's fun and stuff. And I was I appreciated some aspects, but generally I'm let down by it.
I have a lot of things to say about this movie. I will agree that it's not the same movie I remember. It was kind of forgettable in that I remembered the beginning and the end, but forgot most of what the middle was. So it was a fun rewatch in that regard, where I wasn't spoiled.
There's 3 to 5 things that I definitely remembered, and I will have to list them for you in spoilers, but we'll do that. But besides that, I did not remember much, and I know why now, because there's long stretches where you're like, oh no. Yes.
So if
But,
you've seen
we'll dig
this
into it.
or don't care, fall us over to spoilers, and we're going to talk all about it. If not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, guys, so here we are to talk about the spoilers of Ghost of Mars. So this one was definitely one that I liked as a kid a lot, and I still think it holds a little special place in my heart. I do think it has an amazing cast.
Yeah, it's one of those
Can't
interesting.
argue with that.
Yeah, it's one of those interesting movies where you see certain people who were all in the same movie when you go what? That never happened. Jason Statham was never just a dude on the side in a movie. What the hell?
Jason Statham used to be a background dancer in music videos.
Wasn't there a rumor that he was literally hard from the streets and he was a real fighter or something like that?
No, he
You're
was like
saying
an
he's
Olympic diver.
You're saying he's a dancer?
Yeah.
That shatters everything about. No, I'm not.
Jason Statham, who's not having a good time. He's moved from 8th, slipped down to 11th. That's where he is now.
No, he's the man. I really enjoy him. I do
enjoy him
think
too.
it would have been fun to see him in the lead role here.
Yeah.
It would have, I think, maybe aged better. Like
Oh,
Ice Cube
yes.
is on record of saying, like, I hate this movie. Carpenter fucked us. Everything looked like it was from like the late 70s. And I'm like, well, I don't disagree, but I
last
also
part-
kind of like that part. Like, I like that it's a train model. I like that those things are practical.
I'm glad that
Like,
we're talking about this because I like my like Google history is like Ghost of Mars train miniature, Ghost of Mars balloon
clearly a
miniature.
miniature.
Well, no, but like I don't know. Who knows, right? The way that like it looked like a miniature to me is why
Sure.
I searched those things because I wanted to find and I found one for like the weather balloon thing. But I wanted to find like a behind-the-scenes clip
Okay.
on YouTube or something that showed off the train.
I didn't look on the
and everything
DVD
that they
for
did.
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
There might have been a thing.
Because there is wide CG stuff and there are composite shots and
Oh,
everything.
for sure,
So
for
I
sure.
was like, I don't know, but it looks enough like a model that I'm super into it. So,
Oh, I would bet
yeah.
my life, everything I have.
No,
that
it is.
That
it
train
is.
is.
It certainly is. But yes, yes. And
I like that, though.
I appreciate that about it. I think when I don't know this for a fact, but I think that Ice Cube's talking about the other stuff that is bad and not the good stuff. I think he's talking about
he thinks most of this
stuff.
is bad.
Most of this is bad.
And it wasn't like this is a well-received movie, so it's not like
No,
he's alone
absolutely.
in this. Like
Yeah.
like we said, like it kind of tanked his career for like a decade.
Ice Cube's?
Well, no, Ice Cube can take care of his own career.
I'm joking. Yes, yes, yes.
The director, of course. But I think that it's fun enough. It's got enough ridiculous things. I remember like loving them, like what is it, highlighting the fucking like hubcaps or buzzsaw blades, whatever they're throwing.
Yes.
I love that.
What is highlighting? What is
Highlight is like a scoop that you'd pick up peanuts, but use it to get extra speed when you throw
Oh, they do
things.
This is a sport about tradition, its history dating back centuries, its form unchanging.
that?
Yeah.
I picture a guy like a frisbee just going and like throwing
No,
it.
they had like a device which like
Great, that
enables you
explains
to
a
throw
lot.
something like twice as fast, but you could still never throw a blade fast
Does-
enough. They fucking
does
poor
one-
fucking Clea Duvall turns into a water balloon. Her head comes off and her whole body pops.
So let me take this opportunity to say, going into this, I remembered 4 things.
Okay, what'd you remember?
Pam Grier's head.
Yep.
Clea Duvall's head. Somebody cuts off their own thumb. Because he's on space drugs. And Ice Cube saying, I ain't going back.
I ain't going back.
And I remembered that. And then all of those things paid off. All of those things
The
delivered.
thumb thing is great
Yes.
until you think about it.
Yeah.
So they have these detonators, which are like magic. Because they don't have the dynamite, but they do say, oh, they make a little explosion though, and they use them as grenades like the whole time.
Some detonators in them cases over there.
Do you know how these things work?
Now these things don't seemingly have to be initiated anyway. You just throw them and they explode.
twists or something?
Other times he's
Yeah.
pushing a red button on the top and then they explode. Other times they don't explode for like a minute and a half because that's conveniently how we blow up the back of the train.
Yeah. This is normal movie stuff.
That
I don't know why you're
ending
bothered by
is
this.
so ridiculous.
Yes.
So you have this impenetrable train.
But that doesn't mess with him cutting his thumb off. That's just...
No, it does.
They are making...
It does.
you
Hang on.
grenades.
I
Okay.
forgot where I was going with
Okay.
this. So the thing that they are throwing 90% of the movie is just this yellow grenade thing.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, he goes, we could stick them into cans of food and that'll make a grenade.
We can make
And you're like,
grenades.
okay, so it, like corn kernels
Ghosts,
fly out or something.
Ghosts of Mars hate pop. You hate cat food.
If you look down the assembly line, all of them are just stabbing them into the top of a can.
Hey, easy.
For whatever reason, he cuts the whole top off like she wants to eat it, and
Yeah.
this causes him to lose his thumb.
He's on space drugs.
He's
Stefan.
on space drugs, and the space drugs, I think, could have been the best part of the movie, but they
Yeah.
didn't do it correctly.
That's beautiful.
The correct way, in my opinion, to do space drugs, which he's just like breathing constantly, would be that those all, his brother and the Indian guy and the Spanish guy should have been on space drugs, and that's the reason they weren't infected, because we saw that the drugs are what get them out of species in the first place.
No, I will not.
Because he's like, this will fuck with whatever's in her. And I think he's saying it as like a joke, but it does. It makes her expel.
Those are different space drugs.
You high? Fuck, Elena, it's just clear.
They are,
and but
there's no reason to say that they're not anti-drug in general.
I think that Natasha Henstridge's space drugs had her go on like a spirit journey that was able to have her fight the ghost on the astral plane and then barf it out of her body.
So the barfing out of her body thing,
yes.
That's like early motion tracking shit, and it doesn't work properly. Like as she's vomiting, her head moves, and the vomit just keeps coming out of the same spot. Like her head moves, and it's still doing it.
I think this is most of the stuff that Ice Cube is like, damn, they put all these bad effects in the movie. It sucks. Like they tried to do stuff they couldn't do, or like something, that sort of vibe.
I don't know. I think in general, it does look like this came out in like the 90s, not 2000.
Yeah.
So like, I think he's like, I was just in a movie with a snake. That snake fucking moving around all over the place. Look great. And this doesn't look that good at all.
No, and like I think that there's a version of this movie that leans into that more, where they don't shoot for some of the things that, or like whatever, right? Where like, because they said, I think for this, they're filming it in like a salt flat or something, which they dyed.
Yeah, it's Mexico, and they
like,
used food coloring.
They dyed it red to make it Mars, which is awesome.
I think that is amazing.
The perfect thing.
The amount of food coloring you must have used to change the fucking Earth.
They say it's like tens of thousands of gallons, like to have like a number out there.
Yeah, biodegradable food dye. It's amazing.
At
least they said that.
They say biodegradable just to get the lawyers off their case.
Yeah.
But they destroyed this entire area. Yeah, no, it's amazing.
Just picture the wildlife, just like,
what the fuck? Like, so I was like disappointed by this, and that's why like watching the credits, like knowing, they built these models, the like weather balloons really on fire. That's real fire. They dyed the whole area red. There's like pages of like stuntmen, pages of like costumes, pages of all these things. I'm like, damn, because I feel like most of the problems are like editing and some of those things that they reach for, where it's like, you don't have this. Cut this scene out. What are you doing? Oh, the ancient tomb we have to open, and it's this weird.
The ancient tomb thing is really weird because it's displayed almost like perfect, but they had to like blast to get that. So like, aside from the fact that it it perfectly exposed it at the entrance.
It had been hidden underneath the outer walls for centuries, and someone other than man had carved it.
They didn't cut into if they would have sheared through from the middle, I would have been like, okay, like that's a thing, or came in from the side, anything. But like, what exactly are we to believe the Martians are was my question, because when she goes on her spirit journey, we see
they can't like go in there. Yeah.
We see this like toad-esque like animal things.
This wet boy.
And I'm like, okay, now is that their original form, or is that just another race that they existed in through years and years? Because those things did not self-mutilate. They weren't like speared with metal and stuff.
Yeah, we barely see the thing though.
So I was like, okay, what are those things? And if that is their original form, how does that explain how they're able to go into this? To make fallen type of a thing, with Denzel Washington.
To make all that work, you have to go into that chamber. You have to see like the weird ritual or like the weird machine or like whatever. Oh, they're corporeal forms. And there's like numbers and like in the Predator language, where it's just like the weird symbols. You have some weird thing, but we can't show any of that. It's just scientist lady doing a voiceover. I think it's too long to show here adequately.
Probably.
But like, there's just voiceover and there's red smoke, but then they're running out ahead of it already, and they don't get caught in the red smoke, and then more. It's just this horrible.
I do like that it doesn't affect everybody, and that's what I think you could have played into the angle of the drugs or something more. That there are things that like, oh, it can't inhabit a body like this, or it can't inhabit a body like that.
Yeah.
Because the doctor is swept up in the first wave. She easily would have got it. Doesn't. And then you see a bunch of other people like that were normal that didn't get it, and they immediately get murked by these people after they're done looking at their hands and shit. And I like that.
Yes.
I think this is a terrifying bad guy.
Yes.
For many reasons, because they are essentially just smart zombies. That when you kill them, take over a new host. That's almost unbeatable, because you have to just catch every one of them.
You have to leave Mars.
And you're not even sure how many there could be, because they could only be in a host's body. There could be hundreds of them floating around looking for a new host already.
Yeah. And there's a lot of weird stuff they have to do with, like, I think it's carried by the wind, or I think it's this, I think it's that.
Design, how they move. But it's gotta be the wind. Yeah, the wind takes them.
Before we forget, one of the best like shots in that vein is when like it like leaves the one host's body and you get its POV.
Yeah.
And it like goes into the old man, and I wish they would have handled that better, because they leave him there and they come back, and then Clea Duvall just shoots him for no reason off camera.
There's
it's
a
really
great
like
part
a waste.
in the middle though, like he's first turning, and you're like, okay, that guy's bad. All right, leave that guy locked up. But they leave him locked up with the other prisoners, and then when they come back after some escalation or something, I forget what it is. They're like, what the hell's wrong with him?
When did this start? It started a few minutes ago.
Oh, it happened a few minutes ago. And I'm like, you wouldn't start screaming if a guy starts cutting his own face when you know you're in a fucking pandemic of face-cutting monsters?
Like it
seems kind of obvious.
It started to like escalate. Yeah. But the other part you're getting at is like the numbers of people.
Yeah.
Where like there's only X amount of ghosts, but that's a really high number. Are there extra ghosts waiting to infect you?
Exactly. They said there's 200 miners infected, but there could be 5,000 misty men everywhere.
Like,
you don't know.
Like, does it even... because part of you should say, well, I'm killing all these people, which is freeing up more ghosts to maybe infect me.
Yeah.
There's no defense against it. They have no reason to believe the explosion at the end will even kill them. That's just their answer, I guess. And you're like, okay, this all is bad and doesn't quite make the right sense, because like you would want to, like, we have to trap them somewhere where they can't get out or something. Or like there
and
had
as simply
to be...
as being in that car traps one of them.
Okay, I was
so
gonna say,
it doesn't even need to be like a super airtight thing.
Right.
They do seemingly have wide enough molecules that they can't just slip through the cracks in the wall there.
Like I would
or
have
actually maybe a space car would be airtight. That actually makes a lot of sense. It probably is airtight.
Well, no, but I would have liked a scene where they are learning the rules, as you often do in a sci-fi movie, where it's like, oh wait, but the ghost is out. Well, like how come we're not infected? Oh, it must be this. Oh, it must be that. And then like they're all on space drugs. Imagine the climax fight is just everyone on space drugs.
How great would that be with that Anthrax fucking song playing and them doing their shit? It would have been great.
I know.
I do think there's room to explain a few more things. So like they have these little like breathing apparatuses on the side of their shirt here.
God, I hate this thing. You'll get used to it. 2 years ago, we were still wearing full face breathers.
That like most of our cops breathe through like once, maybe twice, like in the movie.
Yeah,
and
so
I know that there
not a
is
thing.
an 84% atmosphere of oxygen or whatever there.
From outposts to settlements, from town to town. Something that had been buried for centuries.
And they do say, oh, you get headaches for the first whatever. And that shows you that some of them are used to it, but Clea Duvall's character is new. So like, shouldn't she have been breathing through it more? Yeah. And I don't know, is that just filter? Is that like a little like, oh, it filters the blood oxygen level or the nitrogen or whatever it is?
Right.
I don't know what it is. I wasn't clear, and I wanted to know more about it.
They just needed to establish something that's totally meaningless. It doesn't play into the movie at all.
I like it too. It doesn't.
Yeah.
But that could have been a thing, again, while we're talking about it, because they mentioned that the drug that guy has is a modified breather that gives him more nitrogen. Turns your brain into Swiss cheese. And that could have been a thing, oh, we modified our breather so we can't be infected.
There you go.
There's lots of cool things that could have been done here.
They could have learned about something doing something, and then since they already have aerosolized injection things, they could have done that. Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's just things that, like, I've seen this movie probably 7-8 times now.
That's too many times.
Over the course of like 20 years almost.
Okay.
But I've thought about enough things that I was like, come on. Something I made a point to this time we were watching is there's like I don't know what you'd call her. She looks kind of like I Run Thunderdome lady for like.
What the hell's going on around here? We haven't had a meal or a piss break in 6 hours.
Like a hooker or something in the jail. I don't know what her character's name was.
Okay,
but that girl.
They don't have names.
I don't know if she does not.
The prisoner person?
I always forget. I'm like, when does she die? How does she die? And if you blink, you can really miss her exit of the movie, because she just gets like stabbed in the hallway and she's gone.
Okay.
But like you're like I was like watching it. I'm like, okay, they all go into the building.
I got it.
Take them out back.
You better get out of here.
Okay. There she is. Okay, now in the next bit, they're leaving and they get into the car. She's not there. Where did she die? She dies like in the hallway to that part. And like it is film. It's not like it happens like super quickly, but it's something that like it's super unpronounced because people aren't like in clothing that like makes sense. And in large battle scenes, they're just like Martians running back and forth in the background. They don't ever swarm. It's like that horrible thing where like, oh, that all the bad guys circle up, but some guy's just twirling a staff, and oh, that one just fell. Did anyone hit him? No, he just fell because the choreography's shit. And it's in the background as people are just running back and forth. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? What errands are they running? The only enemies are right there.
I don't even know why they want to kill these people, because they need hosts either for themselves or for their Martian brethren. So like when you said smart zombies, I was gonna be like moderately smarter than zombies.
Smart enough that they're using weapons. They know what doors are. Yes. They don't understand exactly how things work with the train. They're just like hitting it. Something I want to touch on that like I skipped over was, so like Ice Cube goes to like kill them on the back of the train, and she drops a line like, "Oh, I think there's more dynamite at the end of the train."
I think there's some more dynamite in the rear car.
He's next to a box of dynamite when she says this.
I think there's some more dynamite in the rear car.
So if he needed dynamite, he could have grabbed it right there. But B, he crawls out onto the roof and he sees them and he opens a sunroof thing like it's the easiest thing in the world. It's like, oh, let me open the sunroof. And there's dynamite stacked as if it is to the fucking entrance of that window. And he just drops his detonator in there. I love this for many reasons. One, why? Two, we've seen the train they hit bumps and shit. It's just a stack that's perfectly to that window of dynamite.
Well, it's not like nitro. It's dynamite.
No, but it's dumb.
Okay.
C, when the movie starts, they have to torch cut their way into this fucking thing because it's locked up tight.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the people that run this fucking train go, if you just go to the top, you just lift the fucking latch, they're open. It's these series of things because they do look like they're these impenetrable war fucking trains.
Yeah,
but
they're Martian war trains.
But they are not. Yeah. They are cargo trains that are meant to carry ore, is what they say. And we're just hitching a ride. And they don't appear to have any cargo.
No. And like the dynamite is supposed to blast the mining, whatever they're doing. Yeah.
But they don't appear like they don't have that big like big cupped zones where you would dump ore and shit that you call. Like, what is these cargo ships meant for? They're from like stem to sternum. It seems like it's a beautiful train.
Well, they're using it now for Desolation Jones. So I feel like this trip's not for cargo, except Desolation. His name is Desolation Jones, right?
Yeah,
that's pretty dope.
No, Jones Williams or something, I thought.
James Williams. You mean Desolation Williams? Cooling his heels in the Shining Canyon jail. Deep solitary.
Oh, Reno Williams, Desolation Part 3?
That's something. But even his brother like calls him by his last name. Because you don't know he's his brother right then. And it would make sense to throw him off that way because they even introduced them as Uno, Dos, and Tres to not give away names.
Yes.
These my compadres. Uno, Dos, and Tres.
So I don't dislike that. I just think it's so funny how when people die and their heads just pop off with the fucking gotcha with this.
Yeah, Clea Duvall's like the biggest one. I think I mixed up the heads though because I thought Pam Grier's her
head's on a spike.
Yeah, gets beheaded kind of off camera and they put her head on the spike and stuff. But
they couldn't afford her for very long.
Yeah, it's one of those oh no what's happened here type of shots.
Yeah, her head's on a spike. The one, like the tallest, unnamed policeman, his arm gets cut off, then his head gets cut off and shit.
That was decent. That was a good little sequence.
Yeah.
Because he keeps fighting with like the other hand shooting.
Yes.
And then like several blades come at him. And he like falls apart.
It seemed like they should have been throwing more of those blades because they got most of their kills with those blades.
The blades are pretty much their best technique.
It's like the screamers. They're just...
Screamers also has space drugs.
It's true.
It's a good set of connections.
They're smarter now. That's how they get into our bunkers. Once it gets inside, that's when the killings start.
I love a couple parts in this during like the jailbreak sequence. I like that Jason Statham brings them in and they like in the slowest, most awkward way like rip open their ponchos and have guns and they're like ready to go. And like these police, had seconds, and maybe they're caught off guard because of the situation they're in, but it felt so loud. I'm like, that guy like did like a whole maneuver to get his shit out. And then when they go and Ice Cube sees
no
him,
guns, huh?
Yeah.
So only cops have guns, eh? You fucking pricks.
We lied. Now go get Williams.
He's like, hey man, Mars. I don't know.
When he's like, wow, we gotta deal with it. We got this scumbag and blah blah. And you look at that tall guy's face, Uno's face, and he's like, you've got a point. We do have to all work together. But really, he's saying, did you just call me a scumbag?
Including Williams. Including them.
Who you calling scumbag? Motherfucker?
I like when they free fucking Desolation, and he's like, yeah, you like it? I love it.
You like it?
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I
It's
love
so
it.
good.
There's a whole set of lines. Almost everything he says. What are you gonna do? Shoot me? Like he has this great way of delivering.
Well,
all
he
these
recycled
things.
her line.
Yeah.
I think
No, but like
great full circling there.
Yeah, almost everything he says is great.
Drop your gun, Descanso.
Yeah, drop the gun, Descanso.
But most of their exchanges are kind of cringy, especially their ending one, where it was like,
That's the
you
worst
make a
thing in the
good
world.
criminal, you make a good cop. Ha! Let's just stick to what we're good with.
Tide is up. Time to stay alive.
Killing.
A lot of that's Natasha. Honestly, because she can't do whatever he's doing, whatever needs to be done there. Her face when she goes, nah.
Let's just kick some ass.
It's what we do best.
And then he says, let's just go back to killing, click, click. And she goes, that's what we're best at. Like, it's like the worst delivery ever. No. Their whole thing is horrible. When I talk about Desolation Williams' lines, I'm talking about his like one-liner lines. His Snake Plissken lines of like, better check later. Like his stupid, nice tentacle. Like his fucking like things.
So once this fell through and it couldn't be a Escape from Mars, a third sequence in the Snake Plissken universe,
completing the trilogy,
I think it would have been great to switch the thing up completely and and the timeline doesn't work, but in my mind it would be fantastic if this actually became the second Pitch Black, and the criminal is actually our boy,
Vin Diesel?
and you got Vin Diesel in there, and he's like there, he's got his eyes all frosted and his goggles on, and he's chained to the floor. Yep. And then this is his second phase, like, oh, everything on planets wants to kill me.
Not again.
Can we get an anime version of that? Because I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah. I don't, Ice Cube's fine, but like that's part of what makes it funny. It isn't part of what makes it like good. I'm never like Ice Cube will kill you.
Yeah.
I'm like
when Ice Cube was in XXX2, State of the Union.
And compassion. They're shooting at us! Welcome to the hood, college boy.
I was like, oh, you're not Vin Diesel.
You're not Vin Diesel.
And Ice Cube has some great roles in things.
Yeah.
I don't really like him in the action roles so much. I think he's great in dramas. I even think he's funny in comedies.
Yeah.
But just something about these like action one-liner spill roles. I'm like, you're kind of reaching.
No, he doesn't. There's a lot of people in this that are doing stuff that they don't usually are not supposed to do. Jason Statham's probably the closest, but even him, he's like,
this is borderline what he does, but he's not usually a supporting character. I thought Clea Duvall was really good in this. I thought like she plays this mousy character in the beginning, but by the end she's fucking dual wielding and doing shit.
Yeah.
I like the train conductor dude, is fucking Revenge of the Nerds guy. It's Carradine's cousin or whatever.
Oh, can't get through to the tower.
Here's your coffee, Mr. McSims. 3 sugars and 2 whites, just the way you like it. You want some?
No, thanks.
Did you catch in the beginning when it says, like, atmosphere, 84%, something else, this, star date, that, society, organization, matriarchal? Did you catch this?
I don't think I read the matriarchal part, or at least it clicked with me.
Yes.
I think I read that there's 600,000 people on Mars somewhere.
Yes, there's a bunch of things, but this is like a very understated science fiction-y thing. It's a matriarchal society. The women are in charge. The council at the end's the women.
Representation by council won't be necessary. Your rights are protected by the matronage. You can speak freely.
Pam Grier makes like an offhanded comment about these chumps over in the corner. I didn't remember this from the original movie because it's completely meaningless. But it's in there as some weird world building crap that John Carpenter wants to do, and it has no impact on anything. She says like, oh yeah, and this is 8 inches. You men always exaggerate. Like Jason Statham is a second-class citizen who's like hitting on his boss. It's actually this awesome thing that actually matters not at all in the movie. There's no coming around like maybe you are okay.
You lured me back here to seduce me?
Yeah, well, the way things are going, I thought this might be our last chance to,
But there's all these little dialogue things throughout that fascinate me as more squandered potential. They even say, "Oh, Ice Cube keeps getting off self-defense." Right? Like this weird, oh shit, it's this.
There was some line Ice Cube I think delivers that like felt really topical. It was something like, it wasn't this, but it's like the police always trying to kill me or something like that.
He says something like, well, the only difference is like you've got the woman at your back instead of like the man or whatever. Yeah, that's so dumb.
You think it's a big difference between you and me? You just got the woman behind your bullshit.
And I'm saying this now because in like 2 days I will forget this part of this movie again because it has nothing to do with anything, but for some reason it's in there.
There was something. What do you call like the big the cartel? She's like we have to report this to the cartel.
Yeah, is that
and
what
I was like, wait, what does that mean? Is that another meaning that I know? like is she on the take? What does this mean?
No, yeah, the council at the end I think are those people or no?
Yes.
Where they're like and they're all chicks. It's like Judge Dredd.
Yeah. I liked everything. I did want there to be a sequel to this. There never was, even though it kind of ends like, I think every time except the first time. And the first time, because I was probably at the youngest stage of my life, I was like, yeah, he's got those chromed out guns. Oh, I can't wait for the next one. Woo! Nope. And as I look at it again, I'm like, all right, where did he get that outfit? Where did he get those guns? I don't know.
What's happening? Yeah, when he shows up at the end, we didn't like fully flesh it out, but it's like, please report to your post. We're being attacked by ghosts on Mars.
This is a level 10 emergency. All police personnel report to your division sergeant for assignment.
And then Ice Cube, who's like the most wanted man on Mars, is just like, come on, Natasha Henstridge, let's go. And just shows up, and you're like, what the hell is he doing here? How did he get through everything? I guess they're all dead. Okay, cool, whatever's happening.
But it's not a movie that you ask questions. It's a movie that you're like this is happening. It's not meant to be serious. It's like a jokey shit movie.
Similar to like detonators and all the other stuff that we're talking about. We should ask these questions. I liked a few things, though.
What'd you like?
I liked when they're back. They're like padded up. They're like, oh no, they're gonna breach the perimeter. The ghost Martians. And there's a sequence where they pair up.
Like the fucking Minutemen. You reload, I'll shoot. You reload, I'll shoot. And they yell like clear and ready and stuff. It's this awesome maneuver that's completely out of place. It's like filmed well. It's well executed by all the people because they're in the back reloading. Ready? Okay, good, clear. And they like part ways, and like the other, the two in the back come out with their guns and have this constant firing rotation thing going. We never see that in anything. It also seemed like it was totally an impulse thing because they didn't set that up. We didn't hear them talk about that. It was like, we'll do this here. You go to the back. Yeah. And then like they were just out of ammo, and bam, they came in to save them.
They didn't like explain it or something. No. But yes, that's so
almost
cool.
better that way.
Yes, and that's this awesome tiny thing in like the middle of nowhere where I'm like, I'm so happy that a movie again that I'm disappointed with has a nice thing where I can be like, no, because in every other movie, all four people just shoot, then they go, oh no, there's too many of them, and they have to run away, and it's horrible.
And one of them says, I'll hold them off, you go, and they die instantly holding them off, not at all, but would have been useful later had they not died.
Right, barely a speed bump to hold them off or whatever, exactly.
What are you doing? Come on! No, come on! Just let it go!
Just go ahead and cut!
I love the ridiculousness that is just the plot device of bringing the Indian guy back in just so his dying last words can be like, what about your brother?
Where's your brother? He didn't make it.
Oh no.
Okay, just so we know.
Just so we know that was his brother. It served no purpose. It wasn't needed, but it made me laugh. So I was like, that was pretty good. And I could honestly see that as the writer going like, oh, this is so dumb. Oh, yes. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, so written by John Carpenter, and I think co-written or someone else, is like the, also credited as the writer, who, if you look into his stuff, has done very little, except I think he knows John Carpenter from They Live. My biggest complaint is with the editing, and the editor on this is someone who also worked with John Carpenter before, and has besides that been like assistant editor and like sound or production, editorial department, uncredited, and all these weird things. So I don't know what happened here, or how John Carpenter was like, I've assembled a team and this is how we're gonna do this, because the editing is actually dog shit. In so many places, they have to do this weird, you know how, like in a movie, you follow some characters out of a group when they go left,
Yeah.
and then later you have to go back and follow them right, and you're supposed to like replay maybe one part of one piece of dialogue and then go over there. So in this movie, you get like a star wipe, and then it cuts back and they replay the whole thing that's happening, all the dialogue, and they go over there instead, just to get us like nowhere.
Yeah.
And it all culminates in the, I want to call it the Braveheart scene with Big Daddy Mars barking at his people and like executing prisoners and stuff. And the editing is full of dissolves. It makes no sense what's happening. It's probably the worst editing I've like ever seen, because it's not stylistic. It's just like, we don't have enough footage, hurry, make it work. And it's super, super horrible.
So you mentioned they worked out on They Live. I think it's a little bit of a side note here is that the original trailer for this movie had Keith David as the narrator from They Live.
It was supposed to be a routine prisoner transport. But here, a million miles from home.
Nice.
I think there's a lot of ridiculous things in this movie, none the least of which the mustache on the Spanish character. He has a Hitler mustache, and then it goes into a Hitler beard. So it's just one line that goes like, Hitler beard, a trademark thing that I just made.
That's a future Hitler
Well,
thing,
really, it's when his lips
where
are
it's the
pursed,
whole
it's
thing.
one huge Hitler.
Well, you could look at it like that, but also, yes.
It is as ridiculous as the ending explosion is.
Yeah.
So, like, they really do that super quickly. They trigger this thing like, oh, I gotta do this, that, and that. Okay, bam.
Do you mean the power plant or the train?
The power plant.
Yes.
So the power plant's explosion, they cut to space. And you can see like what is almost the whole planet in view. And she said it'll be like a mile or two, and maybe she's wrong, because she's a scientist, but I don't think that's her field.
No, she's
she's like, man, nuclear bombs, how big are those? I don't know.
It's like, I don't know, two what? I don't know, two.
But when you think 2 miles, you're like, okay, you were in the train for minutes, and I'm like, it's punched all the way. So what do you think a train can do? It's a straight line in fucking the future. Let's say at least 60 miles an hour. So they should be over 2 miles, well over 2 miles away.
You're going a mile a minute, right?
But then based on what the actual explosion size is, they're dead.
So either Mars is approximately 8 miles in diameter, which I don't know that it's not. I'm not a scientist. I haven't fact-checked that. Or, the scale of the explosion is so goofy and horrible compared to the size of the planet. It's amazing. And yes, my first thought too was, well, they've been vaporized. They're dead. Or like Mars is now even more uninhabitable than it was before.
You've punched a hole in whatever terraforming you were doing.
Exactly.
Is our statement to the cartel going to be that Mars is being overrun by ghosts?
Something else good that I just want to throw in there while we're talking about the overall, production of the movie. I think as far as the writing goes, there is a lot of hidden stuff that don't get to go on screen. There's a brief mention of like a mud skipper type analogy where you're like, where she says like, oh, well, like we've been terraforming and that's what woke them up, and like they were lying dormant and now they're back, something like that. The weather balloon scientist lady.
When the pools dry up, those organisms can't live, but they don't die either. They go dormant. Below the surface.
The problem is that is not what happens in the movie.
They violated their tomb.
Yeah, 40 minutes later, they show them blasting open and accidentally unsealing the tomb and stuff.
And did they get sealed in there? Did some other entity go like, oh, you're too much trouble, sealed away, buried in a mountain?
Yes, now it's Pandora's box. Instead of, I would have loved this mud skipper thing. And I love your contribution, which is, we find stuff happening there, but those aren't even Martians either. Martians are just this parasitic species. And like a long time ago, their planet was destroyed, and now they're just this on the wind or something, whatever happens, right? And now, something is, we like cracked open, but it's not like a nice looking tomb. It's just like a random. They were sealed underneath a thing, and now they're like released. There's a lot of interesting potential that I think as a kid would have gotten my mind going, but now as an adult, I'm just like, I want that to be in the movie. What are you doing? No.
Yeah, it should have been just like the explosion happened like normal, but instead of revealing a cave, red smoke just comes out.
Yeah,
and we're done.
Which is nearly all they had shot. So why not just do that? It's amazing.
It didn't need to be bad. It could have been interesting. Because it's just a bit awkward. It's almost as awkward as Ice Cube like handcuffing her. He like holds her hand for so long.
What the hell are you doing?
He takes her hand so far away.
Because it could have, she was
like-
asleep. It could have already been clicked in like to one side and it's been like, or she could have woke up and just already been handcuffed and not realize until like he goes, all right, so I'm going to leave now. And she goes, no, what? And she's handcuffed.
That's so like the shot on her is so tight and so stable that I assumed she was handcuffed but just hadn't realized that. And then he says, let me get you a blanket. And then literally pulls her hand up over behind her head. It's like feet away.
Yeah.
Her whole body's moving. It's the most awkward
so
thing
awkward.
in the
We're
world.
like on paper, I'm sure I know what that was. But it was
Yes.
like, and he handcuffed her, blah, blah. Because it could have been a real, like you could have heard this handcuff sound and she was done.
Get your blanket.
Yes.
But no, they were too focused on showing how awesome of a sewer he is, which he looks like he can fucking sew.
He pulled that off.
Like, I can't do it, but he looked like he was fucking sewing. That motherfucker can sew.
It might leave a scar.
That ought to hold it. When you get there, have somebody look at it. Couldn't get it perfect, so I might leave a scar.
The most ridiculous scene in this movie, though, that I have to mention before we close this out, is their plan is to get on the train. The train does not show up. Well, what's plan B? Plan B is the same as plan A. All right, fuck it then. And he just like runs into all-out war, just shooting, and everybody's shooting. And we had trouble one-on-one fighting things up until this point, but now we're like, everyone is Xena, warrior princess.
He also says, it's like, what are you going to do? Well, what we should have done from the start. And turns around and shooting everybody.
By
Yes.
this point, they do understand that when you kill them, you release a thing that could kill
They do.
you. So what do? Let's kill hundreds of them.
Shit! Come on, you mindless motherfuckers!
And they understand that like these bodies are like puppets, right? So like honestly, like they're self-mutilating. Maybe they can't even feel that much. So this is like a nice feeling. Maybe they're not feeling it at all, and you know, and they are just decorating their host. We don't even know. But certainly shooting them in the abdomen shouldn't make them go and like fall down. Why would they care? They're driving spikes through their own head.
We also potentially could have given them drugs, and they would have been back to being humans. A little worse for the wear with some jewelry, you know, cut into their faces and whatnot. Maybe wearing a mask of human flesh. But these are potentially humans,
right?
That you're massacring.
No, there's no, that's not even a thing. There's no one even says we gotta save them. Like, you know, they don't even like. You would think that they've just assumed, oh well they're gone now. They have the Martian madness. We don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And then after Natasha fights it back, you could have been like, wait. You know, you can come back. There's a cure. We can actually do this. And now this is a whole plot thing where we don't want to kill any more. We've already murdered thousands. We don't want to kill any more because something, this is someone's wife. This is someone's father. We have to do this. But no, they don't give a fuck.
And like opportunities are missed left and right here because we had the doctor got turned. His brother got turned, and clearly you blew up a canister of fuel that should have killed like Big Daddy Mars. Like it didn't even burn his hair. Like it just burned his face a little bit. He should have died right there. And Big Daddy Mars is, I'm like the mist. I run Mars. Should have went into his brother, the next biggest motherfucker on the planet, and that could have been this great source of tension. So when this end fight would have been between Ice Cube and his brother, and that's in a better movie.
And imagine he actually is the smartest one. So he like plays it cool for like a little while. You don't even know that he's infected until he's off by himself and he starts decorating himself back into similar to how Big Daddy Mars used to look, and then reveals himself. Comes out of the whole thing. No, they can't speak. That doesn't work. But still, that guy didn't talk that much. It's fine. We can make this work. No, something like that. Like
just the reveal to come back, like, there's my brother. Let me see any of the ones that got infected ever again, and not just say, here's your paycheck, get out. Would have been something.
Yeah, because he just goes, shucks, and leaves. Yeah. He doesn't say like, my brother. No. It's
there's
horrible.
and that's I think why it's very easy to lose track of characters because we don't mourn any characters. We don't even, in fact, make sure many characters are dead. We're just like where's the Revenge of the Nerds train conductor? He didn't make it on.
Didn't
Fuck
make it.
Just go.
Yeah, the phrase "didn't make it"
it
is used a bunch. Yes.
Even the idea that they go back, like Natasha's idea of like we have to stop this. It's not like it's a spreading plague in the same sense that like we can confine this by like locking these doors and doing this thing. Like when she's like, "We gotta stop," I'm like, "What is your plan? What do you mean we gotta stop? What do you want to do?"
No,
if there just happened to be a nuclear plant there, I think she fully would have turned around and like, "We just gotta keep shooting them. Let's just keep shooting them."
No, like they get away, and then she's like, "No, we make our stand here, right?" It's the dumbest thing in the world.
We've got to go back.
Because like
she got half of them killed.
Well, because
more than half.
Well, and entirely possible. We set off the bomb. Now all 300 things
is the mist alone
are now just free to find new people. We've just wasted that. No, you need to go back to like the compound and notify the like higher ups that this is even a thing. They don't even know that there's ghosts on Mars.
And this is an outpost.
Tell them.
The other one is a city, like potentially with like walls and the actual ability to defend and do things. You could have potentially trapped a large portion of these things because while they are smart in the sense that they use tools, they are too old or not familiar with actual weapons that we use. They don't have any, so we could have tased them, we could have tranked them, we could have done things and then trapped them because they don't seem like they're capable of like killing themselves once they are fully in the form.
I think they have the whatever.
The capacity. Because the gentleman who was inside the cell could have easily ran his head into the thing, popped out, took somebody else out outside of the cell.
Yes.
The guy that killed himself, it seemed like he understood what was taking over him and he killed himself. Like he must have watched it happen to others or something, which could have been a cool explanation shot, but it was soundproof and he couldn't say what was happening.
Can't fight it! It's in me!
But yes, no, that's the whole deal. I think what I'm saying actually is what happened. They like blew up the thing, freeing up all of those people who then drifted on the wind to the thing.
Yeah.
And like that's the whole reason why.
Because we do see the cloud coming in, so that is what happened.
So that's what happened.
But it could have been
done literally her
way
fault.
better, especially
no.
if they were.
No. This is a bad thing though, because she doesn't say, "Oh, oh shit, they survived." She just goes, "Let's do what we do best." Click, 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 click.
Let's just kick some ass.
It's what we do best.
And then just run out. And
you
it's
doomed everybody.
You did a bad thing. You don't do anything. This is not the best thing you do. This is far from it.
No, it could have been so much of a better movie with like little tweaks here and there. This could have been a really interesting thing because it could have been a thing we have to like go through now in a series of movies where like this is like the Halo version of the Flood. We're like, oh, they keep coming. We gotta, but our way of fighting them is we have to keep tranking them and put them down because we know there's a set number of them. So as long as once we get that number, we're like, okay, we have to have 500 of them contained at all times. Okay,
or like have
that body expired. One came out into the mist. Oh God.
Yes.
Are they in the containment units? Who's to say?
I was just gonna say containment thing, like the Ghostbusters. You have some thing that's like a force field to them, some frequency emitters that prevent them from doing something.
Or you have a filter. You're like so you wear your mask. Always wear a mask.
Yeah, like this is more like you mentioned Riddick than Riddick, where it's like you could build on this and like keep creating some interesting stuff. But yeah, I think John Carpenter said it himself, right? He was like, I don't think people understood how goofy I meant for the movie to be. They took it too seriously, right?
But I think there's a lot of potential for a very serious movie here.
but I understand why we as children were like, this is really cool because it has a lot of potential and interesting ideas that get your mind working. But as a movie, perhaps, I think he wanted it to be goofy but didn't make it goofy enough.
He didn't make it, he didn't play that angle up enough and
he's getting old.
And sacrificed, fell on the sword because people didn't get what it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
it was like not understanding that RoboCop is satire, like.
Yeah, but
he didn't ham it the same way.
This one, I think, once once someone explains, it's really supposed to be like a throwback and funny. I'm like, really? Because I don't know if they did that either. It's not a good thing. I don't know.
It's suitable. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Woo! Finally.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only